This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't know how much of my voice is left to make this video, but I'm gonna try to get it in for y'all, man. Look, it was a hell of a game, and it was a hell of an experience as a Cleveland Browns fan. And I'm gonna get into the nitty-gritty of everything. But I think that this was a win that, yes, the team needed, obviously. Yes, the players needed it, obviously. But I think the fans needed something like this the most. I think for us, this win means the most to us because of what it says. What it confirms. I had felt like for a while that this was a Browns team that had proven that they can play through adversity. I'm not going to count this team out because they have adversity in front of them, because they've dealt with nothing but a mountain of adversity. Nick Chubb goes out 5 quarters into the season. Deshaun Watson goes out 3 games into the season. Has to come back 5 weeks later. You have all the excuses in the world for this Cleveland Browns team to suck, but they've overcome that adversity. And you know what it feels like to me? It feels like for the first time since the AFC North was created, that the Browns are a true blue AFC North football team. When we talk about AFC North football, we talk about a lot of characteristics that the Browns have not lived up to since 1999, right? We talk about a team that's tough, resilient, can overcome adversity. But for years, the Cleveland Browns have been defined by their inability to overcome any adversity. The Baker Mayfield era was defined by this team's inability to overcome anything that goes wrong. Tackle gets hurt, can't win. Players get hurt, can't win. You don't get a call that goes your way against Kansas City, can't win. Defined by your inability to overcome adversity. No longer. This team's identity is that of an AFC North team for the first time since this division has been created. For the first time since the formation of the AFC North, the Browns fit the damn description. We are an AFC North football team in every sense of the word, which means it don't matter how good you plan, how tough you are, we coming for that ass every week. That's who the Cleveland Browns showed themselves to be this week. That's who the Cleveland Browns proved to the world that they are this week. That's who Deshaun Watson decided this week he finally fits in with. That's who this team is. They're an AFC North football team. They are a problem. And what they did today, look, they've overcome a lot of adversity this year. I've already laid out a ton of it. But they created so much adversity for themselves, and they found a way to overcome it. Look, this game looked like it was going to be a loss because of penalties in the red zone. I don't know what the official count is, but I know they had at least 6 red zone penalties on offense and on defense. They had 4 of them to start the game. They came down the field, drove 4 times, got 4 field goals because they got 4 penalties in the red zone. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they could not get themselves off the field when they have earned themselves off the field because they kept getting defensive holding penalties. Now, again, you're playing a young secondary. Shit happens. I understand. Especially against some vets like Nelson Aguilar and Odell Beckham, they're going to be able to make that happen. I understand. But that's what this team had to overcome. And then let's not even mention the fact that we gifted the Baltimore Ravens 14 points. We gifted them 7 points on a pick 6 with Kyle Hamilton. Just a tough play, man. Kyle Hamilton at 6'4", tipped the ball up to himself and caught it. A rough play. Happened the same thing in Pittsburgh. Then you look at in the fourth quarter where it finally looks like you're going to make your run. You get a big defensive stop. And what happens? James Prochet fumbles a punt. Gives the Ravens the ball at the 10-yard line. Crazy thing is that you push them all the way back to the 20, get them to like 3rd and 20, stop them, get them off the field, force a field goal, and then you get a defensive holding penalty. And then I believe you almost stopped them again, and then you got another defensive holding penalty. And then they finally scored. It took them like 10 plays to score from the 4-yard line, which is a credit to the defense. But the fact that they had 10 plays to do it when they got the ball in goal range is just not good. They did not play clean football on either side. They played a sloppy game on the road, and they beat the Baltimore Ravens, who people think are the best team in the NFL. Yeah, that happened. And it wasn't a fluke. They made it happen. I thought outside of the penalties, the Browns were the better football team in this game. I was furious with this team in the fourth quarter. And I don't often get furious with the team during the game. But I was furious with them because you could tell, in my opinion, that this team's better than Baltimore. But they're letting Baltimore win this game. Yeah, I got no problem if Baltimore is playing better than you and you just lose a game. That's football. But if you're better than a team and you let them win, that's frustrating as hell. The Browns were the better football team throughout the whole game. They're better. They're just better than Baltimore. They're a better defense. They could be a better offense if they get that clicking on the right direction, but they moved the ball well against a really good defense. But they kept getting in their own damn way. Penalty after penalty, turnover after turnover. Couldn't get out their own way. They still beat Baltimore. Proves my thesis right. The Browns are a better football team than Baltimore. And Baltimore's a really good team, but the Browns are better. They did that on the road. They're a better football team. And if they would have played a cleaner game, they would have blew out Baltimore today. And I don't think Baltimore played a messy game. They played a decent game. The Browns are just a better football team. That's where we're at. The Browns are better than most football teams that they play. That's why they're able to win 2 games with P.J. Walker. They're better than most teams that they play. Even if quarterback is a negative to a 0, they're better than most teams that they'll ever play. I don't think there are very many teams that are better than Cleveland Browns this year. You look at their losses, it's shit that got in their own way. DTR going out there when he didn't need to go out there against the Baltimore Ravens. Okay, that's tough. You know, didn't get a real representation of who the Browns were in that game. You look at the other loss, Pittsburgh. Well, I mean, the definition of getting in your own way, holding an offense to -7 yards and still losing. And where was the other loss? Seattle, I mean, just didn't finish the game when you had a chance to do it with P.J. Walker. Those are the Browns' 3 losses. The only team that can beat the Cleveland Browns right now is the Cleveland Browns. And the Cleveland Browns almost beat themselves today. But you know what? They overcame themselves on the road. And when we're talking about this in a game not against the Arizona Cardinals, when we're talking about this against the game against a team that people felt like was the best team in the NFL with the MVP candidate at quarterback, that's how you know this team is damn good. They're a better team than the Baltimore Ravens. Look at what they did. Look what everybody else has failed to do against Baltimore. They did it. And it's not like they required a bunch of fluke shit to happen. They just took it from them. Like they played bad, gave them the game in the fourth quarter, and came back and took that shit from them. That's how good this Cleveland Browns team is. We ain't seen nothing like this before. We ain't seen nothing like this before. Now, I hope everybody's healthy so we can build on top of this and get a win against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But this is one that you needed to get, man, and one that you really didn't expect to get until we saw how the game folded out and we realized, oh, no, we was giving Baltimore too much credit. We're actually better. We're going to look at the box score of some of this stuff, some of the things that step out to me. Deshaun Watson played much better than that stat line indicates. He was 14 of 14, had some huge runs in the fourth quarter, in the second half of this game, and led. Look, the Browns were down 14 points. They got a 14-point comeback on the road in the fourth quarter. And Deshaun Watson was every bit as part of that. He was a massive part of that. Jerome Ford, I thought, was massive in this game. 17 carries, 107 yards, 6.3 carry, and it's not like he had a giant chunk run. He did it all in those carries. Jerome Ford's starting to develop into a really good running back. So all those people who wanted everybody else to get these carries, I think it's Jerome Ford, Kareem Hunt, a little bit of Pierre Strong. That's what I think the rotation should be. Browns did a good job stopping the run after the first quarter, right? They gave up those 2 touchdowns early in the game, and it looked like Keaton Mitchell was going to be a problem all game, but then at the end of the day, their leading rusher had 41 yards. It was Lamar Jackson. Keaton Mitchell held to 34. Gus Edwards held to 28. Justice Hill held to 7. So did a really good job there. Got 2 interceptions on Lamar, 3 sacks. 1.5 of those came from the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend, the gangster, Myles Garrett himself. Receiving wise, we can see how these numbers match up. Amari Cooper, 6 of 98. He just continues to be one of the most solid, dependable wide receivers in all of football. David Njoku was kicking some ass out here. Now, that 6 receptions, 58 yards don't do justice to how he got them. He got those 6 receptions at 58 yards by whipping ass, like pure whip ass. David Njoku is starting to take a step to be one of the better, not better. He's already one of the better tight ends in the NFL. He is taking that step to be an elite tight end because any opportunity you give him, he has a chance to do some incredible stuff here that you only see from the special guys. And it's nice to see that happen with David. If he can get over some of the focus drops that he had a focus drop in this game where DESHAUN hit him on 3rd and 7. He did not catch it because he was too busy looking forward about it. He got to get that shit out of his game. But if he gets that shit out of his game, he's going to be a Pro Bowler, if not an all-pro tight end this year. Elijah Moore got busy in this game, 5 receptions, 44 yards, and a touchdown. Like to see them get him involved. And it's nice to see that they got more than just David and Coop involved with. Want to see more. I want to see Elijah Moore have a big game here sooner than later, and maybe Pittsburgh's the week because he was getting open plenty in that first game against Pittsburgh. And if you feel like the line could hold up better this week, that might be the case. But we got to see who's going to be healthy on the offensive side here. Zay Flowers got, 5 and 73, so he kind of went off a little bit. Odell had that 1 reception where he got off on Mike Ford. It wasn't nothing really. And then they did a good job holding Mark Andrews down too. And then that's where the Browns offense kind of matchup looked like. And then again, you look at the total here. Myles Garrett, 1.5 sacks. TFL, he was Myles Garrett in this game, and he was one of the best football players in the NFL. I believe he's at 11 sacks now. So shout out to Myles. I don't know if that puts him in the lead or whatever it is, but he is certainly in the front runner, a no-brainer front runner right now for Defensive Player of the Year. And here's another one, an important one right here. Look, Roquan Smith. Yeah, these numbers look cool. 21 total tackles, 14 solo. We've seen Christian Kirksey put up this kind of shit all the time. So that's not impressive to me. What's impressive to me that the Browns shut out Roquan Smith when it comes to sacks, tackles for loss, pass deflections, QB hits. He offered here. He wasn't a factor. He wasn't a factor. Is what I say with Roquan a lot. You can get carried away and get impressed with this number with Roquan Smith. Oh my God, look at the tackle numbers. That's great. He's one of the best football players in it. But look at this shit. This is what the numbers usually look like for Roquan, man. 0, 0, 0, 0. He's not really affecting the game like that. He's not getting TFLs. He's not an impact player. He's just a really, really solid linebacker. Proved to be that this week. Didn't see him in the 4th quarter. Let Deshaun Watson get off. Let Jerome Ford get off. Yeah, that's not what an elite linebacker does. And that's why Roquan Smith continues to be a question mark and overrated in my opinion, because we'll talk about these numbers. Ooh, these tackle numbers. But yeah, this shit right here, this should be looking real familiar with Roquan Smith. When it comes to blowing these leads in the 4th quarter. Shout out to what he did against Pittsburgh last year where he got roasted by Najee Harris of all people. So, keep hyping up Roquan all you want, but Kyle Hamilton and Jadeveon Clowney are certainly way more impactful than Roquan Smith is. But people going to continue to hype him up, gas him up for no reason. But yeah, that's what Roquan did here. Greg Newsome got his first interception of his career and his first touchdown of his career. Hey, man, now that it's broken, I expect more out of Greg Newsome to continue to get those interceptions. I'm glad he got one. Mike Ford even came up, got an interception in this game, which is more than what you could have expected from Mike Ford in this one. Kick return, I thought Pierre Strong had one good kick return. James Prochet, we know what he did. He fumbled that punt return, but hey, man, I'm glad they gave him a chance to redeem himself. And then Dustin Hopkins made the game-winning field goal, missed the extra point, but it's cool. Literally, I went on Twitter and I did something I don't do very often when he missed that extra point. I went out of my way to defend Dustin Hopkins because people were ready to get on him. I can't believe he missed the extra point. That's so bad. But I'm like, nah, man, he done kept you in games single-handedly. He kept you in this game single-handedly in the first half of it because all we had was field goals. He's earned a missed extra point. Dustin Hopkins has earned a missed extra point, and I don't worry about him missing a little measly extra point because I know he's going to come back and kick a game winner smooth as butter. So for anybody who wanted to get on Dustin Hopkins' head for missing that extra point, man, y'all better chill on him. He the reason the season alive. Y'all better let him live, okay? But I mean, you talk about impressive performances, you talk about putting it together, you talk about doing what you need to do against an elite team in the AFC. This is one right here. This is one that everybody's going to look at and remember, okay, nah, we can't sleep on that Cleveland Browns team, because it's not just this game that the Cleveland Browns have on their resume, right? They have a dominating victory with the Cincinnati Bengals, an elite team in the NFL. They have a dominating victory versus the San Francisco 49ers with a backup quarterback, and they have a victory on the road against the Baltimore Ravens. And those are three really quality victories. And if you look at the rest of this schedule for the Cleveland Browns, as I'll try to pull it up right here so everybody can see, you look at the rest of this schedule right here, and you play Pittsburgh, you play the Broncos, you play the Rams, you play the Jaguars, you play the Bears. The Texans are not a joke this year. The Jets and the Bengals, and you feel really good about your chance to finish the season strong as long as you stay healthy. But this Browns team certainly in a good position. One of the most exhilarating and important victories for a fan base I can remember in recent memory, because now you know that the Browns play AFC football too. Right? We've been questioning that for a very long time. Do the Browns play AFC North football? Can the Browns play AFC North football? Do we belong in the AFC North? Well, this was a game that let them know, hey, man, if anything, we an AFC North team too. And we lived up to it. And that's my biggest takeaway from this game. Let me know your big takeaways from this game. But shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to all the Browns fans that was in the watch party with me. Shout out to everybody who celebrated to the Welcome to Your Trap song, man. Those live stream highlights are going to be long to cut up, but boy, oh boy, were they fun. Appreciate every single one of y'all that showed up for the live stream. Appreciate every single one of y'all that's ever showed up for a live stream. I appreciate every single one of y'all that showed up for this video, man. This is the season we've been waiting for a very long time, since I started this channel 5 years ago. And it's great that this week is not only going to be a victory, but we also get to celebrate 5 years of me on this platform talking to y'all about the Cleveland Browns in a couple of days, man. Just thankful, excited, and super glad to be in this spot. And yeah, I love that I've been able to be on this journey this year with y'all, especially, even though sometimes we do get on each other's nerves. But y'all have a great day, man. Have an even better night. And y'all already know the content's coming. We about to have 3 videos a day. It's about to be on that grind, and it's AFC North week, so you know we got to keep barking. But y'all know what it is. Y'all know what we about to do. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.